Hey everyone, my name is Chris, and on this channel we talk Kanye West. And we have a few articles today and some Kanye tweets that we're going to go over. Starting off with Kanye West talks drug addiction, the death penalty, and religion on series of new freestyles. So this is interesting for a couple reasons. One, we just kind of get to hear Kanye's thought process when he's starting to freestyle some ideas, which I think as fans is always something kind of fascinating because we almost always only encounter, unless you frequent Yandi Leaks a lot, the finished product. And we tend to hold the finished product, of course, in high regard. But when you see actually where artists start for a lot of work, it's really revealing and actually really inspiring because instead of thinking like, my first draft isn't as good as everything that they do, you realize all first drafts kind of suck or a little silly, ridiculous. Like they may have like some energy and something where you're like, that part's cool. But even listening to these freestyles, there's nothing like that special about them. But it's just interesting to hear Kanye start to talk about topics and see how he flows from thoughts, how he may repeat something and rework the idea a couple times. So if you are just into that kind of stuff or a rapper yourself, listening to these is pretty fascinating. But information wise, not too much. He does have this line about how about we stop hiding in the bunkers and be a real man. In the interview with Forbes, he even talked about not liking that Trump went into the bunker and that Kanye heard that Trump went into a bunker. He thought that that was a weak move and yeah, be a real man. So definitely getting some criticism from Kanye about that. Trump is. And then he also had something about 30 states still execute, thou shalt not kill, and talking about O.J. Simpson and not knowing if O.J. actually did it or not. But when O.J. was acquitted, it felt fulfilling in a way, just because it seemed to, as Kanye is saying, balance out some of the fact that so many black men or black people end up found guilty for things that they didn't do. So whether or not OJ did it, just the mere fact that he was found not guilty was like amazing. And then you also have in the third freestyle him reference the artist Damien Hirst. God and struggle with dependence on prescription drugs. I was addicted to perks, he said. Drug addiction, for the devil, it works. I think the big takeaway from these, though, is that you can hear Kanye talk about things just like the O.J. Simpson part that wasn't included in the article. And it's after Kanye kind of wraps this thing about O.J. and talks a little bit about O.J. and the death penalty that the interviewer just says, so you're against the death penalty? And Kanye says, thou shalt not kill. It puts into context some of these interview questions and the fact that not everything Kanye said over a 4-hour conversation is in the interview. Granted, I don't think more context would change some of the things that I personally have issue with that come up against separation of church and state. I mean, his positions are his positions in that matter when we're talking like political policy, not just his opinion and lifestyle, right? Two completely different things, like the policy of a politician or presidential candidate versus Kanye's own personal beliefs. Like, I'm fine with his beliefs, but just policy wise have some issues there. But it does just bring into question, how were these questions framed to Kanye? What was Kanye's tone in response? How much did he say that wasn't in the interview that they thought wasn't necessary that might matter to some people? So again, as complicated as that Forbes interview was for some people, it's definitely worth keeping some perspective on it in mind. And a little bit about Damien Hirst. Real fast, you can see that Kanye in 2018 actually went to an opening that Damien Hirst was awarded something. Thursday night before the Oscars, show openings at Gagosian Beverly Hills have been a fixture of the Academy Awards party circuit for decades. The coveted slot is usually reserved for megastature modern artists such as Julian Schnabel, and Jeff Koons. This year, the honor went to Damien Hirst. So it's just showing some of the people that were in attendance. And this is what Damien Hirst's art looks like. I'm pretty sure this is from the show, but you can see there's this really cool shark, this zebra, these suspended animation pictures, as well as these kind of, I don't even know what you call them, collages of colors, or patterns, like pattern art. So interesting. And we know that Kanye is like very into art, very into colors as well. So I get why this would appeal to him. It's weird in the way that Kanye would like. And then Kanye also had some tweets that we're going to go through. The main one, and it's deleted, he tweeted a photo of what a fetus looks like at 6 months, like a Google search, and said something about these souls need to live or an opportunity to live, or look at this photo. It was just something that was anti-abortion, but the idea of like 6 months, which people pointed out that in almost every case, abortion is done in the first trimester and rarely, if ever, done at the 6 month mark that was in line with the photo that he was showing. He quickly deleted the tweet. There was some theories that it was actually like removed or shadow banned by Twitter, but because it was lingering in some people's retweets, but it seems like it was just a deleted thing and it took a little while for it to cycle out of people's feeds. But he replaced that with photos of his kids, which you can kind of see the connection between them. One's a little bit more political, and the other one's just like, I'm thinking about my kids. Look how beautiful my kids are. Why would you want to go this route? Which I think is, depending on your view, I'm fine with Kanye being pro-life, but it just seems not everybody would share that same sentiment. But his kids are looking awesome. You have Saint with Voltron, which I never thought I'd see Kanye and Voltron somehow be connected, and the fact that it is pretty fantastic to me. And you got Little Shy, and you got Psalm, and Psalm looks so happy. Like, that's hilarious. Kanye also did this video where he was showing people how to vote, and he actually just goes to voter registration in Wyoming and asks some questions. And the relevant thing is he also asks about if you're an ex-convict and what voting is like for you in that situation. I think this is actually really cool because so many celebrities and just people in general will talk about how important it is to register to vote and to vote, but I don't think they often take the next step of being like, here's what you do. And for a lot of people, I think they envision it as a much more extreme process than it is, or a more complicated process than it is. When you see somebody like Kanye just make it look as easy as it is, it's reassuring in a way and just motivates some people to be like, okay, I can go do this. That's all that it entails. I built it up in my head a little bit more. So good on Ye. A PS Yay? Is that how we should frame it? And then he also had this tweet today. Good morning, brother. It's Kanye. May I call you? Peace, King. Yes, sir. And this is a text to Charlemagne the God. You may remember in 2018, Kanye and Charlemagne had a pretty in-depth interview. And the two go back a long time. It's not the first time they did an interview in 2018. Kanye had been on Charlemagne's show a bunch of times, but they had some conflict. Like, Charlemagne hated Yeezus. But then when they did the interview in 2018, it was an hour and 45 minutes. And Charlemagne was challenging. He was thoughtful. It was a really good conversation. And it came out days after he had endorsed Trump, and just like the same day as the TMZ interview that sent everything spiraling. But that was, the two have made magic before in an interview series, and they were supposed to do an interview again at the end of 2018. But unfortunately, Kanye going to the White House and tweeting some things from Africa that people weren't sure about, like, is Kanye in a good mental space? Not, led Charlemagne to cancel the event, saying he didn't think it was going to be a good reflection of the conversation that he wanted to have. So this would be the first time I think the two had talked publicly, at least in a while. And then he also tweeted out the song that Kid Cudi and Eminem did, The Adventures of Moon Man and Slim Shady. Response to the song has been, I think, mostly good, like 70-30, 60-40 kind of thing. A lot of people are really liking the beats and like the monotone flows that Cudi and M deliver, and both verses are pretty extended. Each just has one verse, but they go for a number of lines, which is great to hear, because just when you think like the verse might end, it just keeps going. Personally, just a little too monotone for my tastes. Like, I kept waiting for the production to like break out, or for one of their verses to kind of hit the next gear, and neither did. And that's perfect for some people, just not quite what I was hoping for. We also have this: Kanye West is struggling with bipolar disorder as rapper says he wants to be president, source. So it was both People and TMZ dropped this on the same day. I don't know if People is just copying TMZ, and I don't know if TMZ is just looking for clicks, but both kind of use this anonymous source to say that it's some kind of mental health issue and that this is normal for Kanye and it lasts a couple weeks and goes away. And people have had mixed reactions to this. They don't know if it's just Kanye has a different opinion than people, so they label him as having a mental health episode and how unfair that is, where others are just like, it's clearly a mental health episode and this makes sense. And others just fight over it. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes out either way, from a more official source or from Kanye himself, Kim. But these anonymous sources, you just never know these days if it's somebody from the camp leaking something or if it's actually just clickbaits. And People has kind of gone downhill over the years. This was another one. Did Elon Musk tell Kanye West we may have more differences of opinion than I anticipated? How they frame it, the answer is no. But did Elon tweet we may have more differences of opinion than I anticipated? Yes. And this was kind of up for debate because after Elon said you have my full support to Kanye announcing he's running for president, this did happen. Somebody tweeted an article to Elon, John Crowley, saying, come on, Elon, you're way too intelligent for this BS. And Elon did say we may have more differences of opinion than I anticipated. I saw the tweets. It was deleted, but I saw the tweets. I retweeted it with a comment saying, oh my, or something like that. So I'm 100% like sure that it existed. I know because it was deleted, that led a lot of people to think it was a fake tweet, doctored picture. Nah, it existed. So from what I had read and heard, Elon is pretty big on like pro-choice and vaccines. So I think those are the two positions, especially here, that sent him to be like, oh, there's some differences here. So I don't know what he and Kanye have talked about, because Kanye said that he and Elon have been talking about this for years. So I don't know if they just never talked about those aspects of public policy before, or if Kanye's opinion has changed over the years from the last time that they talked about it. I mean, I can imagine that the anti-vaccine thing is more recent than old school, but who knows? It would be curious to see how Elon feels, though, if he and Kanye do an interview and have a conversation. Like, I would love to hear that. Or have Elon and Kanye talk with Charlemagne or talk with Joe Rogan. Sure. Anybody. And then this is just, I guess, some palate cleanser. Despite his best efforts, Kanye West's outsized influence on modern menswear persists. And this is an article on Esquire, and kind of just looking at all these different outfits over the years from 2011 all the way to 2020, with a lot in 2015. I feel like half of them are 2015, like 2015, still in 2015, still in 2015. Okay. It felt longer when I was first scrolling through it, but it's a cool article with a lot of great looks, and just seeing the change in Kanye's fashion over the years is cool. So if you like fashion, yay, definitely check out this article. It'll be down below in the, description, with links to everything else. And that does it for this video. If you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, let me know. We'll be back with more Kanye content as it happens, usually every day, but might be every other day here and there. But if you're liking the channel and you want to help us out, the easiest way is to like, comment, or subscribe. All three things tell YouTube this is a channel that people are enjoying, and then they share it with more people. And if you want to help us other ways, we have a podcast that we do on Kanye that is available on iTunes and Spotify. Listens there help as well. Also, we're known for our lyrical analysis of Kanye West, going line by line through his entire discography. All of those episodes, over 100 of them, are available on Patreon, which is patreon.com/Kanye podcast for just $5. And we also have mini seasons and bonus episodes that we do that are also only available on Patreon. So that would be much appreciated. You can also follow us on Twitter at Kanye Podcast. And that does it for the ending spiel. Until next time, stay wavy, keep it loopy. Cheers.